So Band of Brothers, right? Episode 9. Yo, the a perfectly titled episode. Damon, you with me?
I'm with you, bro.
It is a perfectly titled episode. Why We Fight, right? And I didn't even remember the title as I was watching it. But when the scene, the climax, the pivotal scene, we've been watching this show for 8 episodes. It's only 10 episodes. Episode 9. When that scene hit, that's the first thing I said. I'm like, yo, this is why we fight. In that scene. Then I was like, oh shit, that's the name of the title. Perfectly titled episode. So first it started out with the intro where they were like humanizing the enemy. They were humanizing the Germans and stuff like that. And the little documentary thing, like, yo, we could have been friends in a different circumstance. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
So all of this happens April 11th, 1945, Talum, right? Talum, Germany, right? And it's more talk about going home now. So it's more talk about getting up out of there and going to the house, going back home. It's feeling like everything done. And then I'm gonna just run through all mine real quick because we got to guess. I like that they showed them reading the news for current events. You know what I'm saying? Different world. You could just get on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. It's crazy that the world we live in now is like super centralized where you could just only get on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You don't gotta go anywhere else no more. I remember like when I used to like come home from work or whatever, I would have to check a bunch of different websites. And now it's just Twitter, Instagram. You got all the information you need, right? But they were reading the news, current events. Tom Hardy showed up. Right? I saw Tom Hardy. I'm like, oh shit, there go Tom Hardy.
My question, a real quick question: was he already in it? Because I had it in my notes too. Tom Hardy, the young Tom Hardy. So was he already? Was he in
I feel like I would have noticed.
I don't remember seeing him.
I feel like I would have noticed him. I feel like I would have noticed. But we have we got one of our listeners always watch our reviews and like let us know the truth on YouTube. So shout out to you. And they'll let us know if Tom Hardy was in it before. I know they will. They always let us know. The replacement callback, I like that. Just hearing that again, damn replacements. And then on April 12th, remember, this 1945, April 1945. On April 12th, FDR died, right? So they mentioned that. Hey, the president died. It was Truman that replaced him. And a little fact for people that don't know, the S, most people probably will know, but the S in Harry S. Truman doesn't stand for anything or whatever. But so it was Truman that replaced him. Well, I think this is the reason why I think the S don't stand for anything. His mom and dad, both of their dads' names start with S. So it's like they just put an S in his middle name. So both dads thought that the name came from them or something like that.
So is this like when Wayne say the F is for phenomenal or the F is for?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure. So Harry S. Truman, the S is
whatever
for
you wanted to be.
Whatever you wanted to be. 300,000 Germans soldiers surrendered. It was weird watching them get shot. I never think that's like, I always think that's kind of different watching soldiers shoot soldiers that surrendered. Even in what's going on in real time, watching some of the soldiers that surrendered get like shot in the kneecaps and stuff. I don't know if you've been looking at some of those videos, but I have. So then here we go, right? You come across the concentration camp. And it was, they did a job at showing you what that looks like and giving you buy-in to why they were there or whatever, right? It was super traumatic. It was super detailed. The one person legs was like dangling, bro. That's how like skinny they were. Like it was almost like the bone was gone. You know what I mean? And one person that was being carried. So these people, and it's crazy because at this time they didn't even know what it was. I don't know if you remember that. It's like, what kind of camp is this? So this was us finding out what was actually happening to people over there. We didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But this is the information that we have now. You saw O'Keefe, right? He came all kind of happy, go lucky, whistling and shit. O'Keefe was somewhere in a bunker, just kind of shocked, like devastated, bro. And then so they had to put them back into the camp to regulate their food. And Hitler, this is just a quick rundown. Hitler committed suicide, and then it was like, all right, now we still need to go, to where he was at, and still kind of take that, take that land. But the one thing that I did want to bring up that stood out to me was as I was watching it, I looked over to Angelina and I'm like, yo, like, don't you? Because I'm like, yo, you can't just feed people that have been starving like that much food, right? You gotta, like, don't you? And I don't know this stuff, but I'm like, yo, you probably gotta regulate it, right? They can't just like, because they won't know, or understand their limit. So when the doc said that, I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that was still devastating for them to be in concentration camps. And then, well, it could have been concentration or work camps or death camps or whatever. But for them to be in camps, the shit get burned when the soldiers find out that they coming. When the German soldiers, whatever, find out that they coming that our soldiers are on the way, and them get shot pretty much until the soldiers run out of ammo or whatever, and then just get left to starve. And then you starving, and then people finally come. And then you get a little bit of food and water and then get told to go back to those places that you've been devastated at, and then the last part was they was like, well, like the Russian, what's happening over there with the Russians is even worse, then they talk about people being in ovens and stuff like that, right? And I remember being young, really young, right? Transparency, real young. I said a joke. I was a kid, a little kid. I said a joke about, I had a Jewish teacher and I said a joke. I was like 9 I was young, probably 13 actually.
Don't get canceled.
And,
get canceled.
Yeah. And I'm never say the joke, but I just, even at this age, I'm still sorry for saying that joke. And I don't think I think I had way too much pride to apologize then. But even at this age, I'm still sorry for saying that joke. There's a lot of devastation and hurt from those moments or whatever. So that's it. That's all my assessment is of that show. It was good. We got one more episode.
One more episode. So Damo pretty much said everything that happened in the show. But I want to say this, man. Every 1 through 8 episodes, it was blood and guts. This episode was probably more powerful than all those episodes, and it wasn't that much bloodshed. I think you saw the soldiers killed other soldiers, but other than that, it wasn't that much bloodshed and it's nothing killing and stuff like that. Besides the correction camp, people just, crazy on how them people looked out there that could be on TV, man. Because I don't think it wasn't that much animation in 2001 and all that stuff, man. Yeah. These people was like crazy the way they looked, man. Like it was crazy. But the show started off, man, like people was talking in the show about, how they been over here 2-3 years and why they doing this and why they doing that. That whole thing translated over to the concentration camps, and now you know why you doing this fighting. You know what I mean? So now we know, now we got the why out the way when we seen how they was doing these people, and then we found out there's more concentration camps all over the place. And man, that shit was crazy, man. Like if you haven't saw this Band of Brothers, man, it is something to behold, man. I'm looking at this show, like every show we see, I'm like, God dang, man, this is crazy. Like you said about Tom Hardy, first time you seen him, and he was a youngster in that, so that was pretty crazy. But man, the power in this show when the lieutenant finally lost it, man. They had the lieutenant that been there for a while, and he finally like lost it, man. So they've been doing this for a while, but he goes on another jump, right? Jumping out of parachute into the fire, pretty much. But this time, only him and somebody else survived, right? And all the rest. So he had to come back, and they CO died too. So he has to write these letters now to all the family. So it finally took its toll on him, and he was losing it, man. And normally he got much respect for whatever the other guy, I forgot his Weathers. He got much respect, but he was going in on him too. Like, you know what I mean? Give him attitude, get him stuff. And,
he was pissed.
And then on top of all of that stuff he got going on, his wife wanted to divorce him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hit that way. And he was like, she even wanted to take the dog. It ain't even her dog he was going through. He had lost it, man.
Yeah.
But you just see the effect on the war. These guys been over 2 and 3 years of fighting this war.
Yeah.
Over there, man. It was finally taking its toll, and it probably took its toll on him, man. That was powerful too in the whole movie. But the concentration camp stuff, man, good gracious, man, that was crazy for me.
Yeah, man.
Good movie. 5. I'm done giving 4 out of 5s, man. It was 5 out of 5 for me. It was the one for me, man.
Yeah.
5 out of 5, man.
Yeah,
it was that powerful for me. And I'm telling you, man, they didn't even have to even talk in the movie, man. Just I'm telling you, the stuff I seen in this one
visually,
was crazy. Visuals was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Spielberg, man. Spielberg and Tom Hanks and whoever else they working with, man. That, like 20 years ago, they were still top level, high level people. Still high level people 20 years ago. So, hey, but that's it. That was it, man. We got one more episode left. That was it. That was the episode.